Tonight, your body is going to paralyze you on purpose, completely. And you won't notice, not once. That isn't a fault, it's a scheduled job. One of 6 your body will only run once it is completely certain that you have stopped watching. 6. That's the number. 6 things happening inside you tonight that you have never once been awake to see. The first one starts before you're even asleep, and if it doesn't happen, you don't fall asleep at all. Here's what nobody tells you. This isn't one weird fact about sleep. It's one entry on a much longer list of things your body does at night without asking you first. That's the whole series, Why Your Body Betrays You at Night. We're working through all of them. Today, the 6 jobs it only does in the dark. So, start with the gate. You think falling asleep is your brain switching off. It isn't. It's a heat problem. Before you can sleep, your body has to get rid of heat. Not a little, a measurable amount, and it has a specific way of doing it. It opens up the blood vessels in your hands and your feet and dumps warmth out through your extremities like a radiator. Your core gets cooler, your fingers and toes get warmer, and only then does the door open. Kurt Crouchy's group in Basel measured this and published it in Nature in 1999. They tested everything they could think of: melatonin levels, how tired people said they felt, the time on the clock. The single best physical predictor of how fast someone fell asleep wasn't any of those. It was the temperature gap between their hands and their chest. Which means the thing keeping you awake at 2 in the morning might not be your thoughts at all. It might be your feet. Cold feet, blanket on, phone in your hand, wondering why you can't drop off. Your body isn't ignoring you. It's queuing. It can't start until the heat leaves. Then the second job starts, and this is the one nobody warns you about. Roughly 90 minutes in, you enter REM sleep, and your brainstem cuts the power to almost every muscle you own. Your arms, your legs, your neck, your torso, gone. Not relaxed, switched off at the source. You keep your eyes, you keep your diaphragm, everything else is offline. There's a good reason. In REM, your motor cortex is firing as though you're moving, running, falling, reaching for something. Without the shutdown, you'd act it out. The paralysis is a safety catch, and you get locked into it every single night of your life. And the textbook version of how it works was wrong. For years, the answer was glycine. One neurotransmitter, one off switch. Then Brooks and Peaver went looking properly and found that blocking glycine alone doesn't do it. You need glycine and 2 separate GABA systems working together. Your body doesn't have one lock on that door. It has 3. Occasionally, the timing slips. You surface before the paralysis lifts. Awake, aware, unable to move. Around 7 in 100 people experience that at least once. Among students, it's closer to 3 in 10, which is what happens when you combine irregular hours with not enough sleep. Your body would honestly make a better night shift worker than you make a day one. Third job, and this is the one that changes how you read your own nights. You did not sleep through the night. Nobody does. Michael Bonnet and Donna Arand wired up 76 ordinary sleepers, people with no complaints, no diagnosis, nothing wrong, and counted. A healthy adult in their late teens or 20s woke on average 21 times a night. By their 60s, that number was over 40, 21, and you remember none of them. Because memory needs a few seconds of continuous consciousness to write anything down, and most of those wakings are shorter than that. They happen, they're just never filed. Your sense of having slept straight through is not a record of the night. It's a gap in the recording. So when you do remember one, 3 a.m., ceiling, brain suddenly wide open, the strange part isn't that you woke up. It's that you were awake long enough to notice. In a survey of nearly 9,000 American adults, Maurice Ohayon found more than a third were waking at least 3 nights a week. You are not broken. You are the statistical majority, quietly filing a completely normal night under anxiety. Though if it's every night, and your days are falling apart because of it, that's worth a real doctor rather than a video. Quick one, and only because you're still here, which already beats most people's attention span. If your own body doing things behind your back fascinates you as much as it unsettles you, that's the whole channel. Why Your Body Betrays You at Night. And the next one steps out of the dark. It's already loaded. The parts of you that stopped having a job thousands of years ago and never got removed. They're still in there. Some of them still switch on. Hit subscribe and you'll get it. Right, back to it. Fourth job, your immune system finally gets a grip, literally. Your T cells spend all day hunting for infected cells. But finding one isn't enough. A T cell has to physically stick to its target to kill it. And it does that with surface proteins called integrins. Think of them as grip. Stoyan Dimitrov and Luciana Bezadovsky took 10 healthy volunteers and ran them through 2 nights each. One night, sleep. One night, awake in bed. Same darkness, same position, same hours, just no sleep. The grip was measurably stronger on the sleep nights. Then they worked out why. Adrenaline switches the grip off. So does noradrenaline. So do prostaglandins and adenosine, all the chemicals that circulate while you're awake, alert, stressed, or running on caffeine at midnight. Your immune cells aren't weaker during the day. They're being held back from the door. Sleep is simply the only window when nobody is holding them. And this shows up in things you can actually see. Tanya Lang's group vaccinated 27 men against hepatitis A. Half slept that night, half stayed up. The ones who slept ended up with double the number of virus-specific helper T cells. And the gap was still measurable a year later. One night of sleep, still visible 12 months on. Fifth job. And this one is the strangest thing on the list. While you're unconscious, your brain plays the day back. Not as a dream, as data. The same cells that fired when you walked a route or learned a layout fire again in the same order during deep sleep, compressed, at speed. And it isn't rehearsal for its own sake. It's a transfer, moving what you learned from short-term storage into somewhere it will survive. And there is an experiment that proves it. Bjorn Rasch and Jan Born had people learn the positions of cards on a screen, the memory game, while a smell of roses filled the room. Then they slept. And during deep sleep, without waking them, the researchers piped the same rose smell back in. The next morning, those people remembered 97% of the card positions. On the nights without the smell, the same people managed 86. A smell. While unconscious. 11 points. And it only worked during deep sleep. Send in the rose during REM, nothing. Send it in while they were awake, nothing. When they scanned people's brains, the hippocampus, the structure that files memory, lit up to that smell during deep sleep in a way it simply didn't when they were awake. Your brain wasn't resting. It was filing, and the smell was a filing instruction it obeyed without you. Which leaves the last job, the one that started this whole thing. You already know this one because you've caught your body doing it. You wake up a few minutes before your alarm. Jan Born tested it in 1999. 15 sleepers, 3 nights. Some were told they'd be woken at 6. Some were told 9, then woken at 6 anyway. In the people who expected 6, the stress hormone ACTH started climbing about an hour before 6, while they were still asleep. In the people who expected 9, nothing. Same night, same room, same wake-up. The only difference was what they'd been told. Your body was reading your schedule. And in 2025, Klaas and colleagues took this further. 201 people, sampled continuously at home rather than in a lab. That famous cortisol spike everyone attributes to waking up? It's largely already underway before you wake. Waking doesn't cause it. It's the tail end of a countdown that started in the dark. So go back to the beginning. You thought your body switched off at night. It doesn't switch off. It waits for you to stop watching. Then it drops your temperature, cuts your muscles, wakes you 20 times and hides the evidence, unclips your immune system, replays your entire day into permanent storage, and finally sets a countdown to have you conscious before a machine tells you to be. 6 jobs. Not one of them needs your permission. Not one of them asks. So you're not a bad sleeper. You're a night shift you've never been invited to. Have you ever woken up in the last few minutes before your alarm? What time was it set for?